in my office across the road, I have pinned to the wall a simple A4 sheet. And it's 3 paragraphs, and I think were written by C.S. Lewis. I can't be certain. I've tried for a while trying to find out who wrote it, but I can't to no avail. But it was given to me by a friend of mine in Rome a couple of years ago. But anyway, it says the following, and I quote, "The stage is set. The modern world awaits the emergence of a handful of spiritual heroes who will inspire and mobilize enormous numbers of people toward a more Christ-centered way of living. The question is not, will God raise up great saints in our own age? Rather, the question is, whom will God raise up? It'll be those who make themselves available to him. If the problems today are greater than ever before, then God will raise up saints greater than ever before. And you can be certain of one thing: as dark and as grim as things may seem for the church and the world at times, these circumstances, they will conspire to produce a group of modern saints. God will use these circumstances to call forth men and women who will shadow the saints of the past. The church and the world needs saints. People who are willing to acknowledge God's will for their lives. Men and women who are dedicated to prayer and striving for virtue. We need great spiritual masters to teach us the way of holiness." End quote. I love that quote because it always reminds me why I exist. Why all of us exist, to become saints. That's why we're alive, to become a saint. The beatitude we have in our gospel here this evening, everybody, far from being some political manifesto of Jesus, which is often represented as, every single beatitude, when you look at them, they're designed by the Lord to direct our hearts and our minds to heaven, full stop. To remember the goal, what we're striving for in the first place. To strive for heaven, it brings us happiness and meaning. The reason why we should be getting up out of bed in the morning is to aim for heaven. To remember the hope that Christ has brought this world by dying on the cross and, of course, rising from the dead 3 days later. I mean, it's extraordinary when you think of it, the hope that offers the world. And by oh by, do we need hope in the world today. To inject a steady stream of hope at least. I mean, the idea of our lives must be directed towards God, right? The goal of attaining heaven that is so alien in the world around us today. It's even alien for an awful lot of people, I hate to say, in the church and Christianity at large, that don't get that. It really is. And the more we're jettisoning away our Christian values, our Christian faith, and it's magnificent depth of spiritual wisdom, the more hopeless our world will become. And therefore, we're going to start to cling to things and people that are only based in this world alone, to seek that hope and the meaning, which all of us are starving for. I mean, it's obvious our world is starving for hope at the moment. I mean, so much of our culture and our way of life, everybody, has become extraordinarily political at the moment. We all know this. We all sense it. It's in us, it's in our families, it's in everybody and everything at the moment. Politics is now in places it shouldn't be. Politics is a means to an end, not the other way around. I mean, it's embedded in everything, from our education to healthcare, to what it means to be a biological man or woman, for God's sakes. Extraordinary. All because we have forgotten to ask the bigger questions. Why are we here? What's my purpose? Does God have a plan for me or not? Important questions we have to ask ourselves. Because look at so many people we see today, so many of us, I'm afraid to say, we place our hope in political and cultural figures rather than the Lord. The hope of heaven, I suppose in one sense, it's shattered by the cultural and political struggles of power at the moment. And unfortunately, so much of our church is now dominated by questions of power only, which is what is at the core of politics. It's about who rules, who makes decisions. Power, power, power. Why aren't we teaching the world about how amazing a life dedicated to Christ actually is? Why aren't we filling our youth with the ambition to become saintly in this world, to become an apostle of hope? True revolution, everybody, it comes from striving to be a saint. Revolution starts here, not out there, here in the heart. I mean, no matter where we are, we're called to be a saint. In our family, in our marriage, in our parish, our community, our jobs, wherever, it doesn't matter. We're called to be saints in this world. And the world is always changed by saints at every turn, at every age, at every difficult juncture in world history. God always raises up men and women who are sent to be apostles of hope in a world that's forgotten its way, to remind us of the heavenly reality we're all called to partake in. That the struggle, friends, it's not with each other, but instead with the darkness that always lurks and hides behind the ideologies that pit and pull us apart the whole time. This evening, the Lord, all around the world, at this feast day of all saints, is reminding us that happiness and hope, it lies in striving to become a holy man, a holy woman. A task everybody who's baptized is called to strive for. So folks, the time is now, not tomorrow, but now, to spend a few moments at Mass here this evening and to genuinely invite Jesus to change what has to be changed in here and in here. To get back on that path towards heaven. To ask Him to help you to become the spiritual heroes our world needs. Why? So you can be faith-filled, joyful-filled, and of course infect others with the infectious beauty of evangelizing the faith. And then watch the miracles unfold.